The night started like a dream come true for thousands of fans. The air was electric, the stage lights were glowing, and the crowd was screaming with excitement as Brandy and Monica walked out together. It was supposed to be one of those nights people would remember for years, a celebration of R&B, sisterhood, and nostalgia. But you won't believe how quickly everything changed. Just as the crowd was singing along to one of Bry's biggest hits, something felt different. At first, it was subtle. Bry's smile wasn't as bright. Her movement seemed slower, and she was holding the microphone a little lower than usual. Some people thought she was just feeling emotional, but those close to the stage could see the strain on her face. Then, destiny took an unexpected turn. As the song continued, Bry's breathing grew heavier. She tried to keep singing, but her voice cracked mid-verse. Her hand moved to her chest, and she took a step backward. The band slowed down, unsure of what was happening. Monica, who was standing a few feet away, noticed immediately. She walked closer, whispering something to Brandy, but Brandy barely nodded. The next few seconds felt unreal. Her body swayed slightly. Her face turned pale, and then she stumbled. You could feel the energy shift. The audience, still cheering, didn't realize what was happening until the music stopped. The lights dimmed suddenly, and a silence spread through the entire arena. That's when everyone knew something was wrong. The craziest part was how fast it all happened. 1 minute she was singing with power and grace, and the next she was struggling to stay on her feet. Stage crew members rushed forward, and Monica held Brandy by the arm, trying to steady her. You could see the fear in her eyes. Someone backstage yelled for help, and medics appeared out of nowhere. They carefully guided Brandy off the stage as the audience looked on in confusion. At first, some fans thought it was part of the performance, a dramatic act, or a planned break. But then Monica, standing alone in the spotlight, raised her hand and asked everyone to stay calm. Her voice trembled as she said, "There has been an unexpected medical situation. Please keep Brandy in your prayers." The entire arena went silent. Outside the stage curtain, chaos broke loose. Medics surrounded Brandy as she sat on a stretcher, her breathing shallow and uneven. Someone shouted to bring oxygen, while another asked if she had eaten before the show. Bry's face looked pale, her hands were shaking, and she whispered softly that she felt dizzy. One of the medics checked her pulse and looked concerned. "We need to take her now," he said. Within moments, an ambulance was called. Meanwhile, Monica, still in her stage outfit, followed closely behind, her face full of worry. Back inside the arena, fans started filming and posting videos online, asking what had just happened. Did Brandy faint? Is she okay? Why did the show stop? Social media exploded within minutes with clips and rumors spreading faster than anyone could control. But here is the shocking part. People who were there said it didn't look like just exhaustion. It looked more serious. Brandy seemed disoriented, almost like she was struggling to stay conscious. Her team formed a circle around her, trying to keep cameras away. Monica stood near the ambulance, whispering something to a medic as they lifted Brandy inside. Her expression said it all. This wasn't a minor issue. As the ambulance doors closed, Monica placed her hand on the side and bowed her head for a moment as if she was praying. Fans outside the venue started chanting Bry's name, hoping for good news. Inside the ambulance, things were tense. Brandy was strapped to a stretcher, an oxygen mask over her face. The paramedics asked if she had any history of health issues, but her voice was too weak to respond. One of them said, "Her blood pressure's dropping." They began monitoring her vitals as the sirens echoed through the city streets. Back at the venue, people were crying, calling friends, and posting messages of concern. The night that was supposed to bring joy had turned into something no one expected. And this is where it gets interesting, because what happened that night might not have been a sudden breakdown at all. It might have been building up for weeks, maybe even months. As the ambulance sped through the city streets, sirens cutting through the night air, no one inside spoke a word. The paramedics worked quickly, checking Bry's pulse, adjusting her oxygen mask, and trying to stabilize her breathing. Her eyes fluttered open for a moment, but she looked weak and confused, whispering something too faint to hear. Monica sat beside her, holding her hand, tears welling up as she whispered softly, "You're okay, Brandy. Just breathe." The tension inside that small space was thick. Even the paramedics, trained for emergencies, looked worried. You won't believe this, but one of them later said her heart rate was unstable, a sign that her body had reached its breaking point. Back at the venue, chaos had turned into panic. Fans stood outside trying to get updates. Security struggled to manage the growing crowd, while inside, Bry's team huddled together, phones buzzing nonstop. One crew member said quietly, "She's been pushing too hard." Another added, "We told her to rest, but she wouldn't listen." It was clear now this wasn't just a random collapse. This was the result of something much deeper, something that had been building for weeks. And the craziest part? Those closest to her saw it coming. In the days leading up to the concert, Bry's schedule was packed. Rehearsals, interviews, meet and greets, endless travel, barely any sleep. Her social media showed nothing but smiles, laughter, and stunning photos. But behind those perfect moments, there was exhaustion, stress, and silence. According to one insider, Brandy had been feeling dizzy and tired for days. She brushed it off, saying she was fine, that she just needed coffee or a short nap. She didn't want to let anyone down. The insider said she wanted to prove she was still unstoppable. But here's the shocking part. She had been warned by doctors earlier that month to slow down. They told her that her body needed rest, yet she kept going. You see, Brandy wasn't just performing. She was carrying the weight of expectations, fame, and years of pressure. Everyone wanted a piece of her. Fans, managers, media, promoters. And this is where it gets interesting. The tour wasn't just a comeback. It was meant to show the world that Brandy still had that magic, that she could stand shoulder to shoulder with Monica and relive the legacy of The Boy Is Mine. But what makes this story different is that behind that powerful stage presence was a woman silently battling exhaustion and anxiety, afraid to appear weak. When the ambulance reached the hospital, doctors were already waiting. They moved quickly, connecting monitors, inserting IVs, checking her vitals. Monica stayed by the door, watching helplessly as doctors surrounded Brandy. Nurses asked questions. Had she eaten? Was she on medication? Had she complained of chest pain? Her manager answered through tears. She's been working nonstop. She barely rests. The doctor's expression turned serious. Then she's lucky she got here in time, he said quietly. Meanwhile, news had already reached social media. Hashtags like #PrayForBrandy and #BrandyHospitalized started trending within an hour. Fans were posting emotional messages, sharing clips from the concert, and sending prayers. Celebrities joined in, too, tweeting their support. But here's where it got even more intense. A few industry insiders began whispering that this might not just be exhaustion. Some believed Brandy had been under incredible emotional strain due to behind-the-scenes issues, including tension within her team and the pressure of performing alongside Monica again after years of media-fueled comparisons. At the hospital, as tests continued, Monica paced the hallway, wiping her tears. She kept asking nurses for updates, but there were no answers yet. The longer she waited, the heavier the silence became. She finally sat down, holding her phone tightly, scrolling through hundreds of messages from fans. Every post, every prayer made her more emotional. She whispered to herself, "They love her so much. She has to be okay." But deep down, she was scared that this night might change everything. And she wasn't wrong, because that night wasn't just another medical emergency. It was the moment that would make everyone, fans, friends, and even Brandy herself, question how much pressure one person can take before everything falls apart. The truth about what led to that breakdown was just beginning to unfold, and you won't believe the details that were about to come to light. The hospital room was quiet except for the beeping of machines and the low hum of voices outside the door. Brandy was resting, her face pale under the harsh fluorescent light, while doctors moved carefully around her, monitoring every small change. Monica sat in the corner, her head in her hands, whispering short prayers. Hours passed before a doctor finally entered the waiting area, his expression serious but calm. "She's stable for now," he said, "but her body is completely exhausted. She needs rest. Not days, but weeks." Everyone in the room let out a sigh of relief, but it was mixed with guilt. They all knew this had been coming. The signs were there, and they had ignored them. Let me tell you, what happened next revealed more than anyone expected. When Bry's team began talking among themselves, old conversations resurfaced. Moments when Brandy had complained about fatigue.